Good morning, everyone. My name is Prerak Sethi. I'm one of the co-founders of the India InsurTech Association and the founder of Dahiya Insurance. The India InsurTech Association is excited to partner with the Insurance Brokers Association of India, or IBAI, to organize this event today. Since the audience here today primarily consists of the insurance broker community and InsurTech companies, I will take a quick minute to first introduce the India InsurTech Association. The India InsurTech Association, or IIA, started as a conversation between Shwetank Verma, Subhajit Mandal, and me last year. While InsurTech is a hot topic of conversation amongst the insurance ecosystem in India, we found that there was no formal body driving interaction between startups, companies, and professionals within the space. And also, when we looked outside of India, we found that practically every other country or region had an InsurTech association. So we started this as a not-for-profit that brings together the entire InsurTech ecosystem of startups, insurers, reinsurers, policymakers, service providers, and insurance intermediaries such as brokers onto a single platform. As we started the organization, we also outlined a high-level mission and a set of objectives for ourselves. Some of these are: one, we want to facilitate partnerships between startups and the broader insurance industry, such as insurers, reinsurers, intermediaries, service providers, and investors. Two, we are finding that there are now a lot of InsurTech companies coming out of India that have global ambitions. So we want to help these Indian InsurTech companies access these global markets. Three, we want to connect InsurTech startups with insurance industry experts and professionals, such as the insurance brokerage community present here today. Four, we also want to be the independent voice of the InsurTech ecosystem in India by engaging with policymakers to foster forward-looking policies. Five, we want to publish and promote thought leadership. And then finally, six, we also want to promote initiatives which use technology to help improve the insurance penetration in India across many different socioeconomic segments in a more equitable way. As an organization, over the last year, we've gone out and launched many different initiatives. Amongst all of them, one set of initiatives that to do with events on InsurTech. What we've done is we've gone up and tied up with some of the largest and well-known digital content properties around the world, such as InsurTech Connect and the Digital Insurer, and done events with them. Two, we've also gone on and published an annual report in collaboration with BCG on India InsurTech landscape and trends, which is available on our website. And also, as I said, we are helping our members grow globally. So what we've also done is we've done 10 plus tie-ups with similar InsurTech associations who globally, which have got mission statements and vision statements like us, such as Italian InsurTech Association, InsurTech Australia, InsurTech London, InsurTech Israel. We've just earlier this week, by the way, signed an MOU with InsurTech Mexico. So, truly going global from that perspective. And finally, what we've also done is we've forged partnerships with organizations such as the Institute of Actuaries of India, National Insurance Academy, Gift City, BIMTech, who are each working to help the Indian insurance community move forward and grow in their own respective ways. Keeping in mind the key objectives, for the Indian InsurTech Association, we are excited to partner with IBAI for organizing this event. Insurance brokers are a key distribution channel in India, and insurance brokers continue to grow their reach. What differentiates insurance brokers is that they truly work on behalf of their customers. They've continued to bring strong technical expertise and insurance to their customers to help them get the right coverage at the right price and with the right level of service itself. However, as technology goes on and changes every single industry, including insurance, we find that the expectations of policyholders and our customers is changing very, very rapidly. Customers are asking for more and more digital touchpoints at every single point of the insurance journey, whether it's at the point of purchase, it's for servicing, it's for claims, or for risk management. To meet these evolving customer needs, I imagine that every single insurance brokerage company that's present here today is asking a number of questions internally, right, about their adoption of technology. For example, in which product lines should we invest in technology? How can we use technology and digital communication to improve our sales conversion, streamline servicing and claims, and improve the customer experience? How do we upskill our own existing team members to be better users and adopters of technology? A big question is, should we build this technology in-house, or should we buy or license this technology from InsurTech or technology companies? The event here today, which is on opportunities for broker tech, is meant to drive a conversation around how insurance brokers can partner with InsurTech companies for a win-win. We welcome our speakers for the day, including Ms. Rajeshwari, who is a member of distribution at IRDAI, and Mr. Randip Singh, who's the Chief General Manager distribution at IRDAI. We thank both of you for your presence here today. Thank you all the other speakers for attending. Thank you all the participants for attending. To start this event, I would like to first welcome on stage Mrs. Rajeshwari and Mr. Sumit Bora, who's the president of IBAI, for the welcome address. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks to India InsurTech Association for hosting the event along with IBAI. I welcome Rajeshwari ma'am, Randip ji, and all the association members along with the broker members to this wonderful event hosted by the India InsurTech Association. So when I heard about this event, I was very, very excited, and like a kid, I was jumping with joy, because whenever we talk about technology, I think it evolves and it allows us an opportunity to see what is happening in the industry. So I was very, very excited when this event was supposed to be hosted. I always felt that somewhere insurance is lacking in technology as compared to other financial institutions, maybe like a bank or NBFCs and host of other. I do understand that the banking and the other financial instruments are quite simple because you have only single instrument or you're talking about money. But when it comes to insurance, we have a lot of complex products, and a lot of maybe a lot of people involved in that, like an insurer, reinsurer, clients, customer. So there's a long chain which happens. But yes, the opportunity for technology lies where there is complex problems. So it is always important that we have complex issues so that technology can come and play its part. I also feel that the way distribution is there and with the low penetration currently across the sector, the only way we can increase the penetration is by embracing technology. And I think technology can go a long way in increasing penetration and reducing the cost of acquisition. I think the cost of acquisition in a brick and mortar system or the traditional concept, I think is hampering the growth. And unless and until we embrace technology, I don't think so we'll be able to achieve what the developed countries have achieved in terms of the penetration. So I also feel that adopting technology by all the brokers by increasing the cost or developing through a technology platform is going to be very, very difficult and cost very, very, very high cost. So I feel there needs to be a technology which has a common platform and which brokers can use through a plug and play model, maybe on a variable concept or something of that sort, which becomes easier for brokers to adopt and at a very reasonable cost. So there has to be some common technology platform which I think the InsurTech guys need to look into and see how they can help us. I think the pandemic also helped all of us to look at technology maybe a couple of years faster than we would have thought. I would share a small example. When the pandemic hit, obviously we were all working from home and it was getting very, very difficult. Although we all are used to mails and phone, so maybe the sales happened, but it was very difficult to manage the back office, and you cannot allow the back office to suffer. Maybe the way we have been working for almost 1.5 years. So in that time, fortunately, it was a forced major effort. But we as a company, adopted a technology, adopted a platform, and made our office completely digitized. So it was a coincidence that the regulator also brought in a minimum regulation, where they wanted the brokers to be completely digitized, and everything should be on a single platform. So we embraced technology. We got into a system where we have completely digitized our system. So now we can work from anywhere in the world. There is no paper which is needed. The back papers, the policies, you name it, and we have everything on a click of a button. So this is how things have helped us. And obviously there is a cost involved, but I think the cost can be taken care of if you look at it positively. And I think the way insurance industry is growing, I think we all are going to grow, and we will be able to achieve. Thank you so much, and I would request Ma'am Rajeshwari to please give her inaugural address. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sumit. And good morning to all IBAI executives and the brokers, and also for the India InsurTech Association and all the InsurTech executives who are here. I'm happy to be a part of this event today. Brokers, you have been contributing excellently for the enormous growth of the industry, and every year the contribution is increasing. So it is correct that high time that InsurTech and the brokers community collaborate so that you can add value to the policyholders and also for the industry. I agree with Mr. Sumit that there should be some common technology platform for the brokers. It's not only for the easy understanding of the brokers, even for the policyholders, the corporates, when they deal with the brokers, it should be easy for them. With this, I just start with the importance of technology. We know the world is highly volatile, uncertainty is there, complex and ambiguity. So the customer demands are changing every day, the priorities are changing. So only technology and innovation can help here. So we can say that now technology is the oxygen of any business. So the companies have started investing. I'm talking in general, not only the insurance industry. Companies are heavily investing and increasing their operating and servicing capabilities through digitalization, and also digital transformation. So this is exploding like anything. Though the brick and mortar business, our branches will continue and will be there, but the number of walk-in customers is bound to reduce because people would prefer to interact on online first. So I can say, though insurance industry, we were discussing that banks have adopted so much, but insurance industry is less. Yes, I agree. Every time when I use online banking, I used to be so thrilled. It take you immediately, though there are security level controls, OTP twice or thrice, but it is a very seamless way you can complete your online transaction. So every time I do a banking transaction, I'm really thrilled to see how the servers they connect and deliver. So I agree that industry has to reach that stage. But insurance sector always aligns and embraces changes that are frequently happening in the surrounding environment. So every insurer or intermediary, he is gearing themselves to get the next wow from the customer. That is what he is expecting. So this digitalization combined with new technology and the changing customer behavior, has brought forward the new set of players here to stay and to help us. So they are the InsurTech, I can say. So the InsurTech has made us come out of the traditional way of thinking and have made us to rethink how can we do our business, how more innovative we could be, how customer oriented we could be. In spite of that, we also maintain the corporate governance and the transparency. So this is the advantage of having the InsurTech. Already I can say InsurTech, we have seen in insurance industry as web aggregators and even brokers, they have started making meaningful impact to the customers. Like it started with the price comparison website. So it changed the insurance industry, which was a push product, push business only, as a pull business. So when the price comparison and with the younger generation, so the pull business has started. Of course, pandemic also contributed for the pull business of health insurance, I can say. So when the technologies are emerging, there will be new type of risk also. So we all of us should combine the traditional skills what we have. For I think insurance industry is there for more than 300 years. And so what are the traditional skills we have in the underwriting and clubs and the claims, we have to combine with the technology now, like artificial intelligence, data analytics, we should use and review the new risk. That is what I want to say. And as a regulator, they have been very supportive for the innovation in the industry. The regulatory sandbox is a crucial milestone. So it has provided the insurers, insurance intermediary, insurtech providers an opportunity to innovate in various areas like AI, ML, IoT, telematics, and any digital technology in a regulatory environment. And the second cohort has also been successfully done, and we will be coming out with the outcome of that. Apart from that, IRDAI has also permitted the intermediaries and the insurance companies to conduct the KYC through video-based identification process, and there are digilockers and to keep the policies and repositories for the data management. Apart from the regulator, government institutions like the Health Ministry and Niti Aayog have also supported transformation of the insurance industry through technology. I can say the NDHM and Disha are examples of such inventions. So here the InsurTech, certainly they are helping us to manage the data, they drive the innovation. Particularly, I can start with telling the underwriting and pricing. And it has already started helping us to reach the underpenetrated segment like crop. I will take it as an example. Now in India, remote sensing based application has transformed the crop insurance. Land record details are fetched online at the time of enrollment itself, making the process quite simple and accurate. The Earth orbiting satellites are there. They transmit the data sets at very frequent intervals. Data from almost every field is continuously monitored, right from sowing to the harvesting. And the crop characteristics, like I can say chlorophyll, soil moisture, and then water, everything is being monitored. So this, when combined with the ground truthing, it is helping us to accurately and scientifically calculate the crop loss. So now we are seeing that the crop claims are finalized within 1 or 2 months instead of waiting for a year earlier. So this is a very, very great improvement. And entirely new pricing models have come because of the technology, such as pricing based on usage patterns captured by sensor technology that is there. And the InsurTech are going to drive, I can say, innovation and excellence across the insurance value chain completely. And particularly, I can say that the insurance company and the intermediaries brand themselves in the claim servicing, which very, very, very important. So in claim assessment and fraud detection, the capabilities has started increasing. We are seeing many of the companies and brokers have started using. So the machine learning helps the computers to communicate with the customers continuously over phone call or email, and using the speech recognition, text scanning. So the claim form can be automatically filled up. That has been made very easy so that the human errors can be eliminated. And the automated claims process will help processing the claims within no time. And here is one thing is, even it helps for the companies to know how much funding is required for their reserves, so they can be very confidently and certainly know how much funding they have to do. So once the pattern of these frauds are identified, some pattern is drawn, so it can be sorted out, taken out through exception report separately. I'm only talking in simple language. The technical language the InsurTech will know, so that the routine claims which doesn't have any complications can be processed easily, seamlessly, and the doubtful cases can be sorted out for further investigation or procedure. So that can be done. And with the technology, models have been developed already. It is there with the reinsurers and brokers for the cat losses, EQ losses. Now I am sure that the models will be coming up for the pandemic also, and for the cyber risk, which is very, very important. Though we know that the history is not there, I know that it will be getting developed shortly. And chatbot, we cannot forget at all. It is like a human, it is a part of our employee, I can say. It is replacing the human intervention, and it serves the customers around the clock. Their frontline support is inevitable, I can say. So the KYC document confirmation is easily done, reducing the number of iteration. Of course, I can say with chatbot, probably the InsurTech should also take care of that. Sometimes it is when you are not getting a solution, and it is chatbot are trained to be the more number of samples is given, they go in a certain pattern. But there are some stages where the policy holder will certainly require a human intervention. At that time, we should be able to, the technology should provide or connect the mobile number to the insurance company or the broker, because it was my personal experience also. When I was purchasing something, when you have a grievance, it is not that always we don't want a refund, we want a service or a product. So, but it only says it is refunded. How many times you message, I don't want to a chatbot, I want to only talk to a person? No, we are not getting it connected at all. So that also there will be challenges with the technology, because some stage the policy holder will require human intervention. And now it is only, even when the insurance companies and the intermediaries are in the learning stage, certainly many of the policy holders may not be knowing how to handle also. So hand holding will be required in the initial stage. So with coming to back to the technology part and InsurTech, with all these advantages, there will be a 360-degree view of customers to all of us to offer more personalized services. So even the artificial intelligence and the data analytics helps in the pre-sale service, so that the decision making of the underwriters can be expedited. One more important thing is insurance companies or the industry has a huge data. There is a huge data. We know none of the companies are using their entire availability data. Only 10 to 15% of the data what they have is being used, because only this part will be a structured data. The balance may not be structured data. This 15% will be maintaining in the traditional database, whereas the remaining one we have to cleanse it, transform it into usable data, so that we can derive some conclusions and for decision making. So that was a difficulty we were not using. But I'm very happy to say that while we apply machine learning, it can work on any data, whether it is a structured data, semi-structured data, or unstructured data also. So this is going to be that we are going to unearth and see, utilize the complete database, and particularly I can say in the group health, all it is going to be very, very useful, I think, in that way. And the data management is also going to help us in the risk management, to know about the customer behavior, particularly to address the customer grievances. And if we can program also even the appeals, where the customers have appealed against some grievances, that can also be speedily processed. So that is what I see. There are certainly a lot of opportunities for the insurers and intermediaries to collaborate. They have to necessarily with the InsurTech to address the need of the customer. So it is a very appreciable event that the IBAI has called the InsurTech Association and started having dialogue. This is very good. I'm seeing the insurance industry so far, we are working like detect and restore. So it's a postmortem. We see what is the mistake, then we correct it. Now with the technology part, we are going to move to predict. In advance, we can predict and avert. What should not be done, we can avoid. So that is going to happen. So the swiftness of change will also accelerate as brokers, the corporate companies, retailers, consumers, insurers, and everybody in stakeholders in the distribution channel and the insurance industry will become more and more proficient with the advanced technologies, so that it can enhance their productivity, decision making, and it can optimize overall customer experience, what we are looking for. Certainly, the insurance industry is undergoing a transformation now, I can say. So, in the next decade, the industry, what we are looking now, will not be remaining. It will be totally evolved to a newer level, that is for certain. These opportunities of the InsurTech is particularly significant for emerging markets and the developing countries like India, where we have the large protection gap that is due to a low penetration. So, therefore, through technology and new business models, we can try to narrow the protection gap, though we may not be able to close, even it is not closed in the advanced countries. So, at least we can narrow down the protection gap. As we know, economic growth and the insurance penetration are intertwined. So when the penetration increases, economic growth also there, and when the economy grows, the industry also grows. So I really appreciate, and I wish that there will be more trainings, conferences, and clarity, because it's a new area. There will be lots and lots of doubts coming, not only to the insurance companies, to the brokers, and also InsurTech. When we interact with them, they will know what we want, what the industry wants. The brokers are the messengers of the policy holders, corporate. So you can very well discuss with the InsurTech of what is the need, how they have to change or modify according to your requirement. So this growing technology and the growing young tech savvy population, they really require sophisticated products and services, and they are impatient, quite impatient. They don't want to wait. They were, I can say that they are less sticky, so they keep on moving. So this collaboration of the insurance industry and InsurTech is certainly going to take a long way the industry as well as the interest of the prospects and policyholders. I wish everyone every good luck, and we as a regulator are really thrilled to interact with you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
First, we'd like to thank ma'am for the address. Really appreciate your time today, ma'am. We'd also like to start off by welcoming all the panelists here today, including Mr. Jagpal from IRDAI, who's a special guest. Thank you for coming here today, sir. We also welcome Yashish Dahiya from Policybazaar, Mr. Shwetank Verma from Dahiya Capital, Mr. Sundram Bardhan from Abhivriddhi Insurance Brokers, and Saurabh Mehta from IBAI on this panel. The topic of the panel is that how can insurance brokers collaborate with insurtechs and use technology to leap forward? My first question for the day is to Randip, sir. Sir, you work with insurance brokers on a daily basis. What are some of the key areas in which insurance brokers can collaborate with these up-and-coming insurtech companies to improve policyholder experience and increase insurance penetration?
Very good morning, Prerak. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks, IBAI, and thank you to InsurTech associations for having this very topical seminar today. From the attendees, I see there's a complete galaxy of people here. We have the reinsurers, we have the insurers, the investors, the fintech, the brokers, the TPAs, the surveyors, the CIBIL, and very diverse and a rich field of people who are going to be attending this. So I think so this platform is really nice, in sending out the message of InsurTech to the wider world. As regulators, I think so, we've taken that initiative of promoting innovation in the insurance field. And as Madam was in her opening remarks talking about the two cohorts which we were successfully undertaken, we'll be releasing the results of the second cohort very soon. But as far as the technology is concerned, I think so it's there completely in the entire value chain of insurance, starting from solicitation and pre-sales up to underwriting products, and then follow up on the claim servicing aspects actually. So you find everywhere in each stage of this technology being greatly embedded and being used extensively in order to smoothen the whole process of onboarding the customer acquisition plus servicing him. So what we observe is that the IRDAI has in the first cohort in the regulatory sandbox allowed number of products to be actually experimented with. So major concepts such as pay as you go, plus health variables and health wellnesses are some of these things, which we have already undertaken. But that would be a very limited approach if one has to look at it. What IRD is also encouraging is the intermediaries to kind of tie up with insurance companies, and that is happening through APIs, as we understand. So quotes coming directly from the insurance company servers for the customers, who can then possibly compare them and choose the best products as per his needs. Actually, is something which is being taken up very, very significantly as we go along. What we've also observed is that the entities who are entering this field also take great efforts in ensuring the security of their systems. We have the e-commerce and the ISNP guidelines, where emphasis is on the cyber security and compliance to the ISO 27,000 norms, actually. So these are some of these important areas where IRDAI has been working in this area to promote innovation and to increase insurance penetration. So these are some of the thoughts that I thought I would share with the distinguished panelists as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Randip sir. So my next question would actually be for Yashish. Yashish, in the retail segments of insurance distribution, what do you see as the evolving role of new modes of communication such as video, WhatsApp, across sales, servicing and claims?
See, the customer is the customer, and the customer is experiencing, and has experienced multiple ways of sort of interacting, whether it was a physical, whether it was a telephone, whether it was WhatsApp. Tomorrow it will be different, other things will evolve. And I think we have to be wherever the customer wants us to be, right? I think there is no two ways about that. Because that's the customer will evolve, but he takes his own time in evolution. It doesn't happen in a day. It takes decades, and usually the generational shifts. The way our parents interacted and the way we interact and the way our children are interacting are markedly different. And I think as you look at the Indian market, and it's no secret, right? There is about 70 million people, which we call the middle class. The senior most person in this middle class on average is 35 years old. Most of these places have a child who's 10 to 15 years. 70% of these families have somebody in that age group, right? So what you are seeing is in 15 years time, those people are going to be their own families. The 10-year-old will be 25-year-old. The 15-year-old will be 30-year-old. The 30-year-old probably have children of his own. So you're seeing not just a growth of the middle class, but what you're going to see is a shift in the way they wish to interact, and that shift is coming whichever way. And that does not mean they do not want to speak to somebody, or they do not want to meet somebody. It just means more and more of them are more comfortable dealing in a particular way. And I think the modes you spoke about are just a few of them. I think you're seeing the
Hey, Yashish. I think Yashish is frozen.
I think we lost the connection with Yashish.
Perfect. I'll actually move on and ask Shwetank another connection while we wait for Yashish to come back. Shwetank, one of the newest kind of most talked about forms of distribution is now embedded insurance. So what do you see to be the potential of embedded insurance in India, and what is the role that insurance brokers can play in this space?
Yeah, it's a great question, Prerak. Thanks for having me here. And the joys of technology, we're talking about InsurTech and we lose the connection to one of our speakers. So a reminder that technology has a long way to go. Look, at the moment, brokers remain a key part of insurance, right? So the typical PNC insurer spends 3 to 4 times its profit in distribution costs. So that's where we're starting from. But there's some key sort of challenges, I think, coming up for brokers in the near future. And embedded insurance is certainly one that allows potentially insurers, the carriers themselves, to get closer and more direct access to the end customers and offer contextual, personalized products, right? So change the paradigm from sort of mass market, everybody buys the same insurance, to a travel insurance that's totally catered to you, who is going to a scuba diving holiday in Goa or something, while I'm going for a business trip to Bangalore. So it's embedded insurance is a huge opportunity. The numbers that have been thrown around are sort of $750 billion of annual GWP premium globally, possible through sort of creating more opportunities to sell more insurance, because you're contextual and you're in the journey of the customer. From the broker's perspective, this is an opportunity to upskill and own that delivery of that contextual data point. So as brokers, you already have a significant amount of information about the end customer. You already have channels to the end customer, and this is an opportunity to start thinking about how do you own that ability to deliver the embedded product rather than allowing somebody else to do it. So it's going to become a core skill, and I think Rajeshwari ma'am mentioned it well, that some of these things have to be made plug and play by insurtech providers. And I think as brokers, you have to start thinking about what are the sort of data points that you have that are unique to you, that allow you to create the best embedded product rather than just yet another embedded product. It's a huge area of opportunity, but will require significant investments to get it right.
Thanks, Shwetank. And Shwetank, I think the brokers, can over and above what you just spoke about, also from their side, they understand insurance product design. They understand, they can provide support in terms of the regulatory aspect, the operations aspect, the claims aspect, which also become important. So as the ecosystem grows, brokers have a long history of expertise in a couple of these other areas that they can immediately bring to the table. I think collaborate obviously with the insurtech companies and launch a lot of these propositions, right, to increase and improve penetration in India.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity to further enhance the GWP profile that brokers control, and to get closer to the end customer. Ultimately, it's about making products that work for the end customer, and brokers are very well positioned to do that, and guide a lot of our insurtech providers to actually be able to achieve the maximum, given the experience with regulation, with insurance product design, etc.
Thanks. In fact, Saurabh at eBow, I know you've got a very innovative technology platform, right? That you sell globally, basically, which lets insurance brokers turbocharge themselves. Can you talk about the technology platform, how it can excel to different stakeholders and advantages for brokers?
Thank you, Prerak, and thanks everyone. I think it's a great event. We have heard some great words coming from Am. I think few common points that I've seen throughout the event was that customer is really important, and I think brokers are at the right place to actually interact with those customers. Now the problem is that at some point the brokers need to be powered by the right technology. They need to have the right sort of very fast go to market. They need to launch products faster, and they need to be smarter in that sense. Made smarter by the technology, right? So that's what we do globally, right? So we have a platform. It's called InsurMO. It's a PaaS platform, and it solves multiple problems for the brokers, right? We provide them access to multiple underwriters at the same time. It comes with claims modules. It comes with quotations, with illustrations, with proposals. It has got a whole ecosystem, tied up with telematics providers, and any sort of AI ML based company can be tied to the platform. So it's not just one platform. We are serving an ecosystem to the brokers, right? And that powers them to be a one-stop shop solution, to provide that sort of customized service to the customers, starting from policy issuance to claims to servicing, to everything. So that's what we are doing. And we obviously enable we present a ready ecosystem. We have got 3,000 plus APIs across health, life, GI, all products, right? In India, we have got a huge presence in India as well, with over 500 products being given as a ready product to the brokers. So it creates that ecosystem where it's a plug and play, as mentioned by ma'am earlier, right? It's a plug and play ecosystem where brokers can come and they can start launching the products very, very quickly.
Saurabh, thanks. Makes a lot of sense, and gives I think for the broker community that's here today some more context around the kind of platforms that are out there today that they can literally plug and play in, right, itself. So that's good. Let me switch gears and actually, Sundram, as an insurance broker that's been in the broking business in the SME corporate segment for a while, what is your experience between with some of the top InsurTech innovations in the SME segment? And then what do you think are the next wave of innovative technology that's going to be built by InsurTech companies for the SME corporate segment?
Okay, just tell you, SME is a sector where everybody wants to get in SME and MSME, but nobody knows how to go about it because it's difficult. The premium size is small, and the cost of acquisition is going to be high. And that's where I think the technology should come in place. The first part should be, what I think it should be, we should have a standard industrialization code for every SME manufacturer, or MSME manufacturer, so that you have the code and you know the behavior pattern of what is it going to be for a manufacturing of mattresses, what's going to be for a silicon manufacturer, and you have a packaged product ready, and then you get them on board through technology. Onboarding is going to be the technology which would be required at that stage for the customers of the SME and the MSME sector for the brokers. Then coming to it, we are seeing claims. When it sees claims, most of the InsurTech innovation, even in the retail sector, has always been for onboarding of the customers, getting the policy out within 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is. When it comes to claims, I think we are still lagging behind a lot of time. That's where the pain area for the brokers as well as the customers as such is it. Because if he doesn't see the claim happening, the trust factor is lost. Okay, you might give him a 2,000 rupees cheaper premium, but at the time of claim, if you're not there to help him in an easier process, rather than him running pillars to post to submit a claim form and get the documents, get the survey arranged, it's he feels, why did I buy insurance? I've seen this. I actually, way back in 2002, I had submitted a paper when I was in Sydney with Royal and Sun Lines on motor insurance, especially where we had the future of what motor insurance is going to be. I was focusing more on the claims end, where we said the cars would have sensors by 2020, where the minute an accident happens, the condition of the road, whether it was wet or raining or whatever it is, and the sensors would pick up a lot more information at the time of an accident, send it straight away to the insurance company, order for your Uber or a cab for you, and a towing company to pick up your car. And by the time the pictures are already sent to the garages, and the garages evaluate whoever quotes the lowest or whoever quotes the best, the towing company takes it to to that particular garage and gets it repaired. That's the ease of business which you're talking about, so that the customer feels, yes, I've got something. I'm treated royal. I'm treated like a king. In the SME sector, this is going to be a big challenge, very big challenge. Even today, we have tons of paper, tons of requirement, whether it's a 500 crore claim or a 5 crore claim or a 50 lakh claim on a fire insurance, the same amount of documentation is required. Maybe more detailed in a 50 crore claim, but the same amount of documentation is required. So all those things need to be digitized, and at the minute the claim happens, if the information is uploaded by the customer by taking pictures or sending up videos and whatever the way of mode of things, less chances of a fraud claim being happened, or less chances of something not covered or something covered, and everything could be taken care of. And with the coming to group health, which is our health as such, we are looking at major change which is happening, and so-called so many insurtechs have entered that space and said that, okay, we are going to do it in a much better way. But I feel, for the first thing for health insurance, what India needs is the biggest repository. We should have a centralized repository where every insurance policy data is collected, put in there, and then the underwriting should start from there. And then, so that again, fraudulent claims, again, fraud people, portraying as the same insurance with 200% losses next year, saying again it's a new business and fresh business, all those things can be, so that everybody, the customer actually pays the right price. He doesn't pay an inflated price because of some people are doing some fraud cases. That's a big data which we would require, and that's where I think AI and ML would come into picture, like what Madam had said, and they would be able to do a complete analysis and provide the right kind of insurance cover, whether it is it could be furthermore customized to an individual level in a group insurance, and the individual insurance, the insurance could be more customized. That's my 2 cents on the SME side of the business.
Thanks, Sundar. Sundar, I think you touched on a couple of very important themes, right? One, I think, as you correctly pointed out, one of the challenges with the SME side of the business is, the time and effort required in terms of distribution, sales, policy issuance, claims is the same as larger policies. So I think historically brokers have always turned around and said that, look, how do I make this actually profitable if I have to go serve the segment itself, right? So technology is going to play an enabling role in doing that. A couple of the other themes that you mentioned lead to my next question, which is, I think, very important. You mentioned central repositories, data standards, technology standards that as an industry we can put into place. When we do that, I think collaboratively it becomes a win-win for everyone. So on that kind of, my next question is for you, Randip sir. Sir, what are some of the key initiatives from IRDAI around technology standards and data standards, which our audience can keep in mind when they build these technology platforms? And also, how do some of these fit in with some of the other Government of India initiatives that ma'am also mentioned earlier, such as IndiaHM, account aggregators, India Stack, etc.?
I think so. Ma'am also pointed out, that data is the new oil, and the entire insurance industry runs on data. The pricing is very much dependent upon data. So obviously, we need to be collecting as much data as possible to price the risk properly, to underwrite it properly. No two doubts about it. And for that purpose, we have a data, entity called the IIB, which collects data from multiple sources. Currently, it is largely collecting it from insurance companies, and the amount of data may not be to that desired level, so as to segment and dice the customer based on the information that is being fed into IIB. But given that, I think so. From the IRDAI perspective, an important issue would be when we talk about technology standards. Now, technology would always be ahead of the regulator. The speed at which it has been evolving, the speed at which it has been progressing. So there we would be hesitant in laying down those technology standards. We would rather be going by the principle-based regulations, where we very clearly articulate that the protection of policyholders is very important. You have to respect his privacy. You have to have data confidentiality built around it. But saying that this would be the actual equivalent of, say, 100 crores or 100 lakhs capital, those hard-coded things would be very difficult for the regulator to prescribe. It should come up more as an industry initiative, where there are minimum common standards, which is then adopted by the industry, and it could have a stamp of approval of the IRDAI. I think so that would be the right approach, so as to have minimum basic protections available for the policyholder. Some of the efforts that we have taken on the data standards is that when we came up with this project about e-insurance policies, so there we issued data standards as to what information various lines of business. So I don't know whether the brokers have looked into those data standards, but insurance companies have been issuing policies based on those uniform standards. Again, the effort was again largely from the insurance companies. The IRDAI played a role of a facilitator. We are also encouraging, as I said in my previous comment, that open source and API integration between the intermediaries and the intermediaries and the insurers would bring in significant changes into the customer's experience and in getting appropriate pricing for the products, etc. Very interestingly, there is an interregulatory forum which consists of RBI, IRDAI, SEBI, and PFRDA, which is looking at instances where financial products would be cutting across various regulators. So on a technology platform, we have something called the Interregulatory Technical Group on FinTech, which actually looks at the new emerging technologies which are cutting across the various financial sectors, and see how we can facilitate that. So that's at an advanced level, where if a FinTech or an intermediary wishes to have products or services which are linked to banking or to insurance or to mobile this thing. So TRI could be another regulator who could possibly come when we get into mobile insurance actually. So those are those interesting things that we are at a government and at a policy level working so as to enhance the customer experience. So those are some of the things which I thought I must share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Randip, sir. And I think collectively across all the different ministries in India, I think from the government of India, there's a lot of work going on these initiatives. So as a community, we'll keep looking forward to hearing IRDAI's views on what technologies are adopted, ready to be adopted, where they are in that spectrum. So that's, I think, the broker community and the InsurTech community together is looking forward for your thoughts. At the India InsurTech Association, sir, we are also, by the way, working on an India InsurTech stack, similar to what you just mentioned from our side, looking at a set of technology and data standards from around the world that we feel should be brought into India and for the insurance ecosystem together to adopt those so that we're on the same page. As Sundram mentioned, single data repositories to catch fraud, to catch numbers will help all of us collectively. Yashish, you know how building technology is hard. So a lot of brokers here are going through the journey right now as they're considering and say, how should we think about building technologies? Should we build it in-house, license, buy? Can you tell them a little bit more about your experience just building technology over the many years at Policybazaar? What's actually happened?
No, I think technology is without doubt expensive. It's not, technology resources are not just expensive, but they may not wish to join you all together. Like we all struggle with that, right? They may only want to work for a Google or a Facebook or for their own startup. They may not wish to join you at all, whatever you're willing to pay them. So I think being cognizant of that and knowing the fact that, look, this industry is going to change. If we want to evolve, I think we have to do so collectively. And what that implies is being able to leverage. I do believe there are going to be technology players who would provide pretty much the entire stack all the way from sales to claims. I was noticing as Mr. Vardhan was also speaking about the claims experience. My belief is claims experience will be totally transformed by technology, using a lot of data, and those will be central stacks. No, I don't think individual brokers would be able to afford to build their own technology. I think that's too expensive, and I also do not believe they should try to hire freelance people to build it, etc. It's going to be very non-scaled effort. In my opinion, you need either we have to build it collectively, and that's a very good opportunity that 100, 200 brokers come together and say we want to build this, and then just pull in and build it, or you rely on somebody who proves to be an expert at it, and it is not a big deal. Now the challenge there becomes data, because today and that is where the regulator would I think play a very, very crucial role, because see, today the challenge is a customer is doing a payment through my platform, but then the payment data is used to sell insurance again. Historically that was never a problem. Historically, just because you were part of the system did not mean that you suddenly owned the data, right? But in the new age, every and I'm sure Shwetank comes across this a lot. Every presentation I see, the last page is I will sell insurance. And so essentially it's all about capturing data to somehow sell insurance. Now, I don't know how all of India will sell insurance, but somewhere we need to be careful about what you are getting into. You can't be having lunch with the tiger. So that is something I think all brokers need to be careful of, that eventually if you give your data away to somebody, then God help you at some point.
Thanks, Yashish. All very relevant points. I think almost everybody who comes to me and says, hey, I want to build a technology platform, I ask them about the outlook towards how much capital and how will they actually attract talent, right? So it's not just about the capital, but how will you actually attract technology talent to come join you? Very, very hard problem to solve for. So I think for the broker community, it's a great takeaway to say that, look, you don't have to build everything on your own. Please, consider partnering with InsurTech companies that are coming up who are not competing with you to scale up. Right, that's our penetration.
But have very strong data security contracts, because they should not be able to see if you are paying somebody, then they should not use your data. They should not use your data anyway. But if it's an absolute free service, then maybe they have the right to use your data, because obviously they have to make money somewhere. Whatever is for free, eventually you are the customer. So if WhatsApp is for free,
you're the product.
He's making money.
Yashish, I was advising a startup, and that's actually what I told them. I said on the first slide, write and say, I will never become an intermediary on my own. That's what I said. So if you plan to stay in an InsurTech company, first bullet point should be to all your customers who are brokers, that I will never become an intermediary, right? I will never take a license of my own, and that's actually how you'll actually go and get some clients. That's what I told them. So dead on in terms of that
I
being the
don't
biggest concern.
totally agree. By the way, like we've had a license, right, for the last, and it's not been a very straightforward journey, but eventually we do have relative scale, and we are also deploying technology. So I think my belief is actually no, you should come under the license fold at some point. Sitting outside eventually, will have limitations.
Thanks, Yashish. Saurabh, you've got insurance brokerage clients all over the world, right? What are one or two top technology innovations that you've seen in other markets that you think should come to India? And we've got Randip sir hearing about, leaving aside regulation in the short run, but at least some ideas that we can generate here.
Yeah, sure. So I think when we started building platforms, right, probably a decade ago, then we started with the Insuramo PaaS platform, which is essentially a headless sort of open API platform used for collaboration. You can get the whole ecosystem, as I mentioned earlier, right? So we saw great adoption of that platform with insurance companies, brokers, tech companies, internet companies, everywhere, right? Then we realized in a few countries, brokers also need applications. I mean, you can build applications on our open API platform. You can do whatever you want to do with it. It's an open API platform. But then there are brokers who also need help in building SaaS applications for themselves. So what we did in a few countries, what we actually created SaaS applications which can be used by insurance companies and by brokers at the same time. They've got different interfaces for both. It becomes a plug and play model. So for example, in Thailand, we have got around 80 to 90 brokers using the SaaS application, and it's backed by around 12 to 15 insurance companies. As far as there's a contract between these two from a regulatory standpoint that they can sell the insurance, it's a plug and play for us. We say, okay, this insurance company is enabled for this broker. These are the products enabled, and you are set to basically start selling those products, right? So apart from giving them APIs which can be used for B2C and B2B2C distribution, we also give them application where they can compare prices. They can go to the customer. They can go to tier 3, tier 4 cities, take that application with them, and basically a very fast go to market. So I think those SaaS applications are doing multi-billion-dollar businesses for us in multiple countries, right? So that is something that we plan to sort of bring to India as well. I think that's what a lot of brokers still are struggling in. They're getting new licenses, but then they are reaching out to us. API platform is great, but can you also provide a SaaS application for us to help? And that's what we are planning to bring that to India as well. So that's probably the next thing on our target.
Got it. Leading on to that, Shwetank, have you seen other top technology themes in the brokerage community globally that you think we can bring here?
Yeah, I think I'll hit upon what Yashish said, right? I mean, insurance is the new lending. That was the earlier way to make money. Now everybody wants to sell insurance. And overarching theme globally, right, is the application of AI. And application of AI with the intersection of sort of enhanced connectivity through 5G, etc., creating this ability to do deep personalization, parametric sort of payouts, embedded insurance, etc. And sort of if you look globally, those are the kind of companies that are raising money, right? So if you look at, say, auto insurance, bunch of new auto insurances have sort of raised, more than $50 million, which is all about creating the sort of insurance that is perfect for you, and not just basic telematics, but a bunch of other things on top. So I think a lot of that will sort of come, a lot of that sort of personalization will come to India. And that's where Yashish's point is really valid, which is you have to own your data. Data is your differentiating factor now in the new paradigm, right? So plenty of people can build algorithms, but those algorithms need data to be able to spit out outputs. And it's the differentiation in data that will drive differentiation in business outcomes. So as brokers, I think getting, I hate the word upskilled, but getting smarter on how your data is currently stored, how it is managed, who gets access to it, how is its ownership established, how do you make sure that just because you you give it access to somebody, they can't keep it or they can't use it for other applications. Getting on top of these things as senior leaders and brokers is really important. And these are not straightforward things to solve for. So this is you do need to spend some time and effort understanding this new world of applied AI and how that applies to you. And I think that is what I would leave the brokerages community with, is the applied AI is coming. It's being funded in a very, very big way. And that means you need to understand how to get the most out of your data assets and make your data into an asset. A lot of times it's not an asset because you don't even know what you have and you don't know how to access it.
Thanks, Shotang. I think it's a perfect segue to our last question. We are almost running out of time for Sundram. Sundram, as Shotang mentioned, how do we currently train the professionals that are in the brokerage industry today to be better adapters, better users, have them have better understanding of technology so we move forward faster as a community?
So when you're talking about professionals, you're talking about your own employees and other people?
Absolutely correct, yes.
Okay, when you're talking about your own employee, I think you should involve them when you're going to talk about technology in the initial stages itself, so that they come back with their problem statements saying, these are my problems, these are the things, can tech help me? So when you make them involved in the process, and if you're able to satisfy at least 60% of their problems using the technology, I think you've done your job. They feel they owe it, their contribution has come in, and the company has listened and solve my problems. That is the way to go about it, because otherwise you're going to bring in a platform and you're going to say, here it is, this from tomorrow, it's a magic wand, it's going to do everything you want. Start using it. I don't think anybody is going to use it. It's going to hit back, in a big way. So that is, that's a way to go about it for implementation of new technology. And over a period, you need to customize it according to the way your company works. And that's possible through the technology platform. It cannot be so rigid like what we have currently, which we are using. It cannot be take it or leave it. It can't be that way. It needs to be customized, because your set of customers could be very different than the customers, the broker, which is 3 kilometers away from you, right? And if technology isn't adapted, you're going the dinosaur way. That's this one for for the broking industry as such. You can't keep surviving based on your existing contacts and existing relationship with certain customers. You cannot survive on that for long, because your competitors are going to come in, they're going to throw in technology, going to make it ease of doing business for them and add more value to it. Then you're out of the game. The relationship is not going to last long. But that's my take on implementation of
usage of technology. I know you're part of the IBAI leadership team, so we're looking forward to having IBAI collectively for the brokerage industry drive some of these initiatives around upskilling of our professionals to think about technology, understanding technology, and using it on a daily basis to help improve the eventual policyholder experience, right? Because that's
Absolutely
who we need to really serve. I'd like to thank everyone. We're running out of time here. Thank you for the discussion today. Randip sir, thank you for joining. Thank you, Yashish. Thank you, Shotang. Thank you, Sundram, and thank you, Saurabh. Really appreciate it, and we'll continue doing a lot of these forums in the future, and hopefully also get very deep in from a technology perspective in the future.
Hello. Hi, this is Gopesh here. I'm founder of Invest Solution. And I'd like to thank IIF for the opportunity to present to this August audience today. I'll just share my presentation and we'll take you through the same and explain what we actually have to offer. I hope you're able to see my presentation.
Yes, Gopesh.
Okay. So in today's context, since we are talking to brokering community, I'll be focusing more on our aggregation platform. However, I'll briefly introduce what Invest does and then actually get onto the product and showcase how the product offering works. We are a leading InsurTech startup in India. We currently own around 45% market share for our flagship offering, which is benefit illustration system. We have configured more than 800 plus products, so it is thoroughly tested. We have been in business for the last 6+ years and have got several clients in India, which are several of our applications are cloud deployed as well. We are actually in a really august company in India, likes of PNB, MetLife, Bajaj, ICICI Securities, AU Small Finance Bank, Turtle Mint. Several of these companies are our clients already. And primarily, we are focused on insurance industry only. So we have got some offerings for broking community and some offerings for insurance companies as well. I'll briefly mention what we have for insurance companies, which is actually the applications across the value chain, starting from a quotation engine, which is an advanced illustration system, which is further enhanced into distribution management system, right from the lead management to entire application processing and claims support as well. And then once the application is submitted, entire policy administration, we have got an application for that as well, which we have implemented in a few companies also. Now, actually coming to the today's context, where we are talking to distributors, where the aggregation of insurance products along with a distribution platform which can handle support from leads to claims is important. And that is where we'll explain what exactly we have to offer. So the challenges that we face in trying to build a distribution platform in India is to be able to aggregate all the products quotations on login journeys is really a cumbersome process. As a broker, you could be tied up with multiple insurance companies, and each insurance company has their own API structures, their own peculiarities, which takes a lot of time for broking community to integrate with those systems. And it certainly delays your overall integration, customizations, or launch timelines also. Apart from that, even after integrating, there are several journeys that a distributor might want to take. There could be an assisted sale, there could be a direct to customer sales, there could be POS related integrations, or in a way tie-ups that affiliate tie-ups that brokers would want to go ahead with. All these things leads to a lot of duplication of work unless it is a really properly structured technology that we are looking at. And primarily what this leads to is a lot of cost overheads, delays in launches, and further delays because meanwhile, as you start integrating, there are more changes that are happening on the platforms, on the insurance companies level, because they are also simultaneously upgrading their platforms. And we have seen that many brokers actually struggle with this issue. The moment they start integrating, by the time they are ready with something, they already are actually lagging behind the technologies which are coming up in the market. So what we have here is an aggregation platform which could be used by any intermediary, be it a corporate agent, broker, or an aggregation platform, or even an insurance agent for that matter, in which we support all the product lines such as life, health, motor, sachet products, or say any similar offerings which could be offered by an insurance company, be it unit-linked products or savings products as well. Then we have multiple modules to handle all the possible requirements. So be it B2B requirements, B2C requirements, or for that matter, a telecalling setup, which is assisted with an assisted sale. And right from lead generation or integration with internal lead management systems to managing the entire policy flow and then supporting on tickets for policy servicing and claims, everything is managed in our platform along with some advisory modules as well. So I'll now briefly showcase you how the product works. So there are entire journey which handles the policy workflow and CRM functionality. So the moment a lead enters into the system, one could create advisories for them. Against one lead, one can have multiple advices created across the product lines. And each advice then moves further into the proposal stage and in the backstage where, depending on company's underwriting, it can eventually move into policies as well. And at each stage, we track all the information in thorough manner. One could also have hierarchical structures managed here. So one could view views for self or for the entire team. Entire hierarchy can be filtered here. And also there is a separate login for an individual where one can have training content, commission related calculations or product calculations, everything which is a personal office kind of thing. Within that, as I explained, we actually store all the journeys which in a really structured manner for easy retrieval. So all the journeys, such as whether proposals are in progress, payments is pending, if there is something abandoned, one can click on the journeys summaries to see the detailed and can actually jump to the journey wherever it was left off from. So complete retrieval process is also part of the entire application. This is more from assisted sale or even an administration platform, such trackers are given. As I already mentioned, we support all the product lines, be it life, motor, health, and travel. Each and every line has its own peculiarities. For example, life insurance has calculation complexities. Health insurance has features to be compared in a certain manner. Motor insurance master's management itself is a complexity. And travel insurance comparatively is more like health insurance in that sense, apart from a few additional inputs that one has to take. Each independently, we have calculators built for them. Advanced modules are also built on top of it for goal-based advisory, all health insurance for family planning, or customers' requirement basis, automatically suggestions of health insurance through scorecard systems and all. We have built some more modules for automating the advisory. And all of this, once you have started a certain journey, advice is completed, it all culminates into configurable by journey. So towards that, application form can be completed on the screen itself. One can have a summarized view of the same and be able to submit that with the insurance companies wherever one has integrated that with. All this once done, then companies have dashboards for easy analysis of information, where dashboards are at personal level as well at the collective level of at any hierarchy building up to the organization level. And there are almost 6 or 7 different dashboards we have from lead to business and the servicing and all those calculations that one might want to see at various points in time. The important part here is that while on the front end side it all looks quite good, but the real challenges actually come into picture when we start about integrating with insurance companies and how our backend is structured, because there are twofold challenges that an aggregator faces. One is to be able to build the quotations, and when it comes to quotations, there could be scenarios where insurance companies are giving you quotation APIs and you want to consume those, or there could be scenarios where one may not want to consume insurance companies APIs or may not be available either for that reason or because you want to control the experience at your end. In that case, how your calculation engine or backend engine works or quotation engine works is extremely important. It shall have a hybrid nature where one could configure products in the system itself or be able to call APIs also whenever needed. And that is where we really has a headway, because our configuration engine is proprietary in nature, which is deployed in various insurance companies as well. And the same configuration engine we use for our aggregation platform also. So it gives us immense flexibility and efficiency. The moment product is configured in the system, it is available in APIs, it is available on the platform, or one could easily integrate with insurance companies without having to worry about internal configurations. It works in both the ways. And the second additional technological advancement that we have done is the bigger challenge that insurance companies faced after quotation is integrated is in terms of how the proposal form integration works. Because proposal form fields can run into hundreds or thousands of fields as well. Sometimes for life insurance companies, there are dependencies, there are masters which change from company to company. Hence, the moment you integrate with more and more companies, your backend structure starts losing, and one has to resort to hard coding to be able to achieve whatever complexities one has there. That's where we really add a lot of value, because we have proposal form configurators in which we can handle any level of form builder complexity. And through panels, once we have configured a proposal form, it automatically renders on the front end with all the possible requirements. And API integrations are also automated to a large extent through this particular mechanism. So between these two modules, be it quotation and proposal form configurator, we take up largely of the important challenges that companies face while integrating. And that's where we technologically really build a lot of value to our clients. And once everything is configured, all these are available in APIs as well. So apart from using our front ends, if our aggregators want to integrate it in their net banking platforms, so their internal CRMs, or want to use as an employer-employee benefits to the corporates, they can easily use these APIs and integrate with other platforms and be able to leverage the entire platform or the technology or integrations that we have done for them. So all this is the brief about the product that we have, and talking about why exactly Invest is a preferred choice. So the two things that we feel which differentiate us from the technology companies which could provide probably similar solutions would be, one is our efficient configuration engines that we have built, which is completely proprietary in nature. And in our system, we don't have to resort to any hard coding. In fact, it is built by actuaries and product heads. So today we have panels in which actually an analyst configure products. We don't need any IT support. That really improves tax, because insurance products are complex in nature. They are structured offerings. And if you give it to someone who doesn't have functional understanding, it takes a lot of time for them to first understand product, put it in a structure, and then configure it. So that is what we take away from the table, and we just give it to people who understand products. We have panels through which one can easily configure those. And this is the engine which we have implemented in around several insurance companies, where we own 45% market share in India already. And secondly, we have functional expertise. Founding team member has been part of setting up a life insurance venture, has collectively more than 20 plus years of experience. And that's how we have, and since we are completely focused on insurance itself, we do have some expertise which we try to bring to the table, and advisory as well. We have some customer testimonials which can share later on. And about the leadership team, I am Gopesh, founder of this company. I am from Ahmedabad and then been part of founding team member for Life Insurance Venture and part of actual team as well. And Shweta is co-founder. She's from IT Delhi, and she's the technology brain behind these particular products that we are building. So between two of us, we have got functional and technical expertise to handle the requirements that our clients actually have. So that's all about our product, and I am really happy for all of happy to share this information with you, and thankful to all of you for sparing time to listen to us. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gopesh. Now I will invite Mr. Ratnakar Shetty, who is the co-founder of XGGC's Infotech.
Yeah, just hold on. Can you see your screen?
Yes.
Okay. So just a brief this about where XHSN comes from. So we've been one of the start insurance insurtech companies in India. So we started this journey around in 2006. A lot of people, I'm not sure whether you know, there was a online portal called as insurancemall.in way back in 2006. So where everything was done manually. We used to get the rate cards from the insurance companies, put it in Excel, and then get those rates uploaded onto the website before the APIs and all that came into place. So we have been in the industry for the last 15 years now. We have a couple of our flagship products. Primary of them is two of them, which I'm going to be just running you through. So one is we have the insurer digital suite, which is comprising of the employee benefits, the group mediclaim, group personal accident, and group term life. And the second one is basically the eBima switch, which allows the distribution platform to connect to any of the insurance companies, either through a B2B2C or a B2C kind of option. The idea, I mean, we actually also have kind of evolved over a period of time, because initially we started off with the employee benefits option, where brokers used to actually service a lot of companies through an employee benefit option, which is GMC, GP, and GTL. And they realized that a lot of employees of that particular corporate also require a retail option, which allows these employees to probably buy motor insurance, two-wheeler, health, travel, home, term life policies also. And that's how this whole architecture kind of evolved over a period of time. And these are the different products that we have built over a period of time. Finally, we got it integrated into one single option, which is typically the employee insurer, which takes care of the employee benefits part of it. When I mean by employee benefits is typically right from the underwriting, where we get the enrollment of all the corporate employees onto the platform. Their rules and regulations change based on the kind of demographic that particular corporate has, and what is the understanding with the insurance companies. So we have around almost 5,000 plus corporates today which are running on this particular platform ours, with multiple brokers. India's top international as well as top domestic brokers use this platform of ours for the last almost a decade now. So it's not something which has evolved for the last 2-3 years, which has actually been running for a decade. And since it's been running for the decade, all possible underwriting rules which are there, which have been evolving from different insurance companies, all these have now been built into our engine, and we are able to take care of whatever possible combinations or permutations which come after an understanding with the HR, with the insurance company and the insurance broker. Those have all been now kind of built into this particular engine of ours. Once again, this is available both on the on a portal as well as on the mobile app. So you can actually do your enrollment through the mobile app. You can actually look at your claim status. You can look at your network hospitals. You can look at e-cards. If you have a mobile app, then you can actually look at within 2-kilometer radius what are the network hospitals which are available. You can look at your claim status. We are real-time connected with almost like 15 to 20 TPAs and insurance companies, which give us regular feeds on claim status, e-cards, and network hospitals. Now, what we have done recently with regards to the, looking at how the market is evolving, and specifically after the, COVID, which came in last year, is basically the Flex platform. What we do out here in the Flex platform is the decision initially was with the HR to allow the you look at a particular benefit category, which could be probably the grade wise. Grade 1 gets so much of benefit, these are the relationships covered, and this is what you will get as part of your benefit from an employee. What we have done is we have actually taken that and turned it around and allowed employee to kind of choose what benefit he or she wants. So what I mean by that is, in a normally scenario, what happens if a grade 1 would probably get 1 lakh cover for only himself and spouse. Even if he or she wants to cover the parent, he may not be able to do it because that is what the company policy is. With Flex, what will happen is you who have the option, as long as you are able. So there is a wallet which is presented. This wallet will have a certain amount of money, and you feel that you are reasonably covered through a retail policy, and you would not really want that kind of options are built on. So probably you can get on to get on your parents onto that particular cover, rather than you or your spouse within the same amount of money. That is one option. Second option is that you could actually go ahead and customize this health cover. So let's say I'm single, I'm not married, I would not really go for a maternity option this year. So I could actually, not choose maternity as one of the options in my group medical policy. So, or let's say an OPD, I would require an OPD. So I may actually go and actually choose OPD as one of the option which is required for me. Same goes for, let's say, a personal accident. Same goes for, let's say, term life. In term life, I feel that I already have a critical illness policy which has on the retail level, and I would not like to opt for a critical illness option. So these are the flexible options that we have made today. So it allows, or it basically moves or shifts the decision making from the employee of an organization, from the HR of an organization, to the employee of the organization. So the employee now becomes the person who can choose, and you can kind of look at all these flexible options which are available, and kind of design his own coverage based on the options which are given. We are also looking at how exactly we can get leave encashment. Let's say I have 20 days of leave in a year, and I don't want to kind of go ahead with that. I don't want to encash that. Maybe that amount can be put onto this particular wallet, and the corporate can allow me to actually take more options out here. It could also, we have made it such a way that it could also allow an employee to go for some non-insurance or wellness options. So you could probably tie up with, let's say, gym membership, which could be discounted compared to what goes out in the market. You could go for probably some of the wellness programs which are already there. Or maybe, let's say, I have a parent who regularly requires a 1 year full health checkup. So instead of putting that money onto, let's say, a group mediclaim, I can probably take out take less option out there, less cover out there, and divert that money into this health checkup for my parent. So these are the things that we have brought in about a year and a half, and it's already gone live with some of the corporates who are international, who feel that they need to give equal opportunities across all the workforce that they have. Like what happens in an international abroad, actually, it's quite companies are known quite to give flexible flexi options to their employees. So it doesn't really depend on the grade or the age of the employee or where he or she is located. So this is the change that we have done on the employee benefits platform this year. Along with that, as I mentioned, that if a corporate would like to also extend retail options, so let's say you could get a better two-wheeler product, you could get a better four-wheeler product, you could probably get a travel insurance which is much better than what is there in the market through the same interface. That is also something which we have gone ahead and implemented in our suite of products. All these products, I think, Mr. Randip mentioned from IRDAI, is the customer data, the security. That is something which we are already compliant. We actually encrypt our data on the fly. So this is not something which is data at rest, but encryption of data on the fly is something which we have already implemented in all our product suites. So it kind of helps the brokers to know that the data, the customer's data, or even the corporates to know that the customer data is absolutely safe and it is encrypted. And even the broker or even we, if we do have access to these systems, we will not be able to look at the actual names, the personal identifiable information, which is the name, mobile number, email address of that particular customer. That's something which we have already implemented onto our platform. And this allows you to kind of quickly plug and play and get it up and running, as long as you still do have agreements with insurance companies. We are a pure insurtech firm. We are not a broker, we are not an agent. We in no way sell insurance at all. We cannot sell, basically we cannot sell that. We are not in any way selling insurance. We help people who are there in this ecosystem, which are the brokers, insurance companies, and even the agents, to come on to a technology platform which is something customized to them and take it forward. That's all. I think I'll give Sumit a lot of time to kind of yeah. Thank you. Karthik.
Thanks, Ratnakar. Now I'll welcome Mr. Sumit Ramani. He is the founder of Protect Me Well. Sumit, over to you. Sumit, we can't hear you. Not yet. Maybe you can remove or disconnect the earphone and straight away use the mic of the laptop. Yes, please try again now. Yeah, sorry, we still can't hear you.
सुमित, आपका वाईफाई का नेटवर्क कम है, तो आप एक बार वीडियो फीड बंद करके देखिए.
Sumit, we can see you very well. So I think the video is definitely on. So your wireless and all that should be okay. Something to do with these speaker phones, I think. Just check the volume of that speaker, please, Sumit. You can keep speaking, because if we hear you, we can immediately let you know.
Yeah, now you are going on mute. Okay, Sumit, so on the top left of your browser, there is an option to allow access to microphone. Just left of the airmeet.com.
Sumit, can you... Sumit, can you see the lock icon on the top left near the address bar?
Yeah, I think Karthik, if we can allow him to just run through these slides, if we are not able to because there's time is a constraint now. So I'm not sure.
So if you could call someone and then they can put their phone on speaker to be able to help others here.
Yeah, so we are coordinating with Sumit on phone.
You see my
Just
screen?
give us a minute and
Everyone, please confirm if you can hear Sumit. Sumit, please go on.
Yeah, and you can see my screen, right?
yes, and we can hear you also.
Okay, great. So essentially, this is the problem statement we are trying to solve. Everybody, as in the webinar, many people said, right? Everyone wants you to sell insurance, wants you to buy insurance, but nobody really tells you how much should be the size of the cover. And the challenge really is even the sellers of the insurance, which is insurance companies and brokers, and I'm talking about people who actually go on and sell on the ground, struggle in identifying what should be the size of cover. Over a period of time, the rule of thumb have evolved, like, okay, buy 10 times of your income when it comes to your term insurance, or buy 1 crore and you're good. But that is not always right. And in most cases, in the current world where the target audience is more keen on having a personalized information and personalized product, doesn't quite fly. And hence, about 2 years ago, two actuaries sat down and decided and were thinking about this problem statement, wherein we said, okay, people across the geography, people across the skill level, even including people who are in the insurance industry, struggle to identify what should be the size of their cover. And given we are actuaries, we have skills. We know why each insurance product is sold. We know financial engineering. We could model it. So it is both. In some sense, we are better positioned to come up with this engine, and in some sense, it's also a responsibility because this is our way of giving back to society, saying that okay, we in an independent fashion would help you identify what should be the size of your cover. And then we said, okay, why then just restrict to term insurance? Why make it product centric and not the customer centric? So we said, okay, we'll keep customer at the heart and build his do his projection of his income, assets, expenses, and liabilities, and then try and find holes in his financial profile which insurance could fill in. So, and then also do stress testing. Let's say, okay, now we have identified the individual in terms of his financial profile, and then try to figure out, let's say for term insurance, what happens if he is no longer around today? What happens if it's no longer 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? And then eventually make a recommendation on what should be the size of term insurance. But given we have mapped his entire financial profile, we just don't need to restrict it to any form of insurance or even one form of financial product. We could say, okay, you need term insurance of X crores for next 25 years. You need medical cover for, let's say, 10 lakhs because you are of a certain age, you have a family of so many people. You need critical illness cover of so much because chances are that when the time comes, the critical illness cover that you have may not be sufficient given medical inflation. And eventually at some point in time you would retire, so you also need to have retirement corpus. So these are essentially the 4 bits that we said, okay, we'll start with, and if the product has been available for people to use for last year and a half. And then we said, okay, while we are doing it, the problem remains across the globe. Let's do a core platform, the core engine, wherein the algorithm remains same. But let's say if you want to move to US, for example, all we should be doing is changing the parameters which are specific to US while the core algorithm still works. And hence build a platform which is universal in nature. It is obviously API first because we don't intend to sell insurance at any point in time. We wanted to give it to sellers of insurance and also buyers of insurance. Let's say if you are retail customer, individual trying to find your insurance needs independently, you can come on our website, do your own financial needs analysis, pay for it, and that's really the end of it. We do not capture your email ID or phone number, and hence, which kind of demonstrates that we have no intentions in your identity, but we are more keen on letting you use this product and pay for it. Equally, it is extendable because the way we have designed it, we don't need to restrict it to either insurance products or insurance products that I just mentioned. And actually, in reality, we are actually coming up with a new version wherein we would be adding 4 more products, a recommendation for 4 more products, that is home insurance, home content, disability insurance, which is personal accident, and emergency corpus. And we are going to ask only one more additional question apart from what we are asking, because we really have by the way of asking questions that we ask, we really figure you out, and it's easy to integrate. It can be. We've done integrations with our partners in past, and it has taken less than 1 day in most cases. And if you want to do, let's say, POC, you could do it even without talking to me. You could sign up on our website, generate a link which helps your end customers take the entire journey, and then the report is sent out to you. Which means that, let's say, if you want to try with, let's say, thousands of your customers and see whether this would fly or what is their reaction, you could actually do it without even reaching out to us. So if that looks too good to be true, I invite all of you to actually try it. It will take less than 2 minutes. It doesn't ask for your email ID or phone number, so you could do it anonymously. And in the end, you would get a report, something like what you see on the right-hand side. You could maybe either scan the QR code or type the link, or maybe click on the link that I've sent on chat. So while some of you actually, and it's free, right? So it's free for first 58 people. After that, it becomes paid. We have about 100 odd people in the group. So hopefully it helps. It lets you try. It lets most of people try it. So while some of you try it, the question then comes is how it is going to help broker community or sellers of insurance in general. So essentially, there are 3 use cases for it. One, wherein you have a potential customer who is not very sure what insurance covers and what should the size of insurance covers that he or she needs to have. He could, if you integrate the API, you could build a journey around it. And then when the individual takes the journey, he gets recommendation for 4 products, and in a month's time, he'll get a recommendation for 8 products. And then you actually kind of educate him, saying that, okay, you probably were thinking of buying term insurance, but you probably also need medical insurance. You probably also need personal accident cover. You also probably need critical illness cover. And this is the size of cover that you need. So that's the first set of audience. The second set of audience is, let's say, if someone is sure, comes to on your website, wants to buy a term insurance of, let's say, 3 crores, takes a journey. When he takes the journey in process of buying it, you already collected the information that we need as part of the engine. And you could also, you could go back and say, okay, you bought term insurance, right, that probably covers you well or protects you well, but what about critical illness cover, medical insurance, or home insurance, or home content insurance? And hence, you again educate and maybe sell more products per customer as opposed to selling 1 product per customer. The third could be if you are a broker broker for a while, you have tons of data, you could actually run this API for all the customers that you already have in the database, and then send out reports to them saying that, okay, we did a need analysis for you based on the information that we had 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and this is what we see, what we think should be the size of your cover. And those can become, that is an opportunity to sell more or cross-sell. While we give quite an indicative figure in terms of what should be the size of cover, we do not go down to the level of detail of saying that you need term insurance of XYZ company, or we don't go out, and in case of, let's say, retirement corpus, we say, okay, you need retirement corpus in this case of 10 crore. You could either, you either buy, let's say, a ULIP product, or you could buy a deferred endowment, you could buy maybe an endowment, you could buy a fixed deposit, you could buy a mutual fund, or you could invest in stocks. That's where the advice and the expertise of brokers come in, wherein they have an option to decide which insurance product of which term insurance of which company, and equally what type of products this customer should buy to meet his financial needs. Assuming some of you would have tried, let's see. Let's give you an indication of how our journey has been so far and what we have been up to. So we started sometime around January 2019 saying, okay, this is the problem we need to solve. And then we went down to when we built the engine. And then we again started thinking about what questions or what inputs should we ask the end customer, which meant thinking from customer's point of view. While we knew what our engine needs, but thinking from customer's perspective made us ask, okay, while one of the key information that I need from the customer is his expenses, annual, monthly expenses. But in reality, most people do not know their expenses. They know their income, but not really expenses. So this is probably not the question I should be asking. I should be asking income and then have a mechanism to estimate expenses. Equally, most calculators that we have seen ask customers to key in inflation rate. The argument that we had was if the customer knew what is the inflation rate going to be in next 30 odd years, he doesn't need our calculator. He probably knows more than what we already know. So keeping that in mind, keep ensuring that the recommendation is reliable. So we ask for right number and right type of questions, but at the same time, not making it super complicated that the customer never completes the journey. And we actually saw in about 6 months of time, 10,000 people took the journey, completed it, used the report, we got feedback, we tweaked the model, made the journey paid, and then started reaching out to industry players. We've been at the same time building on the product. As I said, the next launch is in next month, wherein we add 4 more products. And while we continue to try and entice Indian players, wherein who are not we have our own challenges in selling a software as a service product. The general problem that we see is most players in the market want to build on their own. While we get around that problem, we continue to make strategic partnership. One of them was with Ratnakar. And so imagine you have everything, you have code to bind, and then since you're using Ratnakar's platform that's XCGSS, you also have Protect Me Well built in it. So the first thing that happens is you do need analysis and then do code and bind. Something similarly which could nicely sit in, let's say, in Invest platform, for example. And then we also, let's say, partnered with Floatbot, which is a chat engine, AI-powered chat engine. So imagine that you are talking to a chat engine either through text or through voice, and at the end of the journey, you get a recommendation engine like I just showed. The beauty of it is that we don't need to imagine, it's already in place. So this is really the plug and play model, which looks at the customer from 360-degree angles, doesn't ask for your data, especially in terms of personally identifiable information, and can be plugged in a day's time. Last bit is about the team. With 2 entrepreneurs, enthusiasts. Namit has been tech geek for 15 odd years. Been entrepreneur since then. I've been into insurance and into actuarial field for about 15 odd years. Doing work with insurers and reinsurers in the past. We've been on my own for about 4 odd years. And both of us are very, very passionate about what we're doing, building a platform which is scalable, and we've tested it. It can handle tons of users at the same point in time, and it can be used to eventually benefit the end customer, so that we can bridge the protection gap that we've been talking about during the conference in a more comprehensive fashion in India. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Sumit.
Thank you, Karthik.
Shubha, can we move on to the next session, please?
Sure.
Okay, we are in the concluding part of today's session, and I would just like to mention about the key takeaways of today's session, and also present the vote of thanks on behalf of IBAI as well as Indian InsurTech Association. So, of course, the most important, the key takeaway today is that technology is here to stay in our lives. We are already married to technology in various forms, and we have to just ensure that the insurance value chain in all its lines of business and all its spheres marries technology and makes life easy for the end consumer of the policyholder. So, and we have seen the government, the regulator, and all key stakeholders in the industry to create an environment that will facilitate into various insurtech interventions, technologies, and opportunities for all new entrants to come and participate over here. The Digital India push by the government of India is not only for the insurance industry but for the entire all lines of businesses, all industries. They're making this an initiative to ensure that India is married digitally in all aspects, and each and every population, the common man on the street as well as the corporate honchos, they are using technology to ensure that life is made easy for everybody. So here, India InsurTech Association is definitely a very good platform, facilitating partnerships between various participants in the insurance industry or the insurance landscape in India, and especially they are bringing in some good partners where the insurance distribution partners, vis-a-vis brokers and others, can partner with them, adopt technology, and ensure that policyholder gets the best of all. And makes life easy for him. Not only buying insurance, but also ensure that claims processes thing. And then there is various digital repository initiatives which the government has done, which Distribution Madam Rajeshwari Madam mentioned about the DigiLocker and everything. So even your data and policies are held secure and safe, and can be easily accessible, whatever is there. It was interesting to note the enthusiasm that Madam Rajeshwari mentioned about when she uses online banking, how enthusiastic she is, and it was just like how excited she was and how humble she was in expressing enthusiasm in using online banking. Similarly, we should bring in InsurTech or technology in the insurance space to make it easy for people. So I just take this opportunity to thank Madam for participating in towards today's event, and the way Madam spoke today, it looked as though she had done extensive research, and she understood InsurTech very well. It was not a new subject to her. So thank you very much for her enthusiasm and guiding us today and taking us through the session. Next, I would like to thank Mr. Randip Jakpal, Chief General Manager, Intermediaries. The fact that Mr. Randip Jakpal was instrumental in leading or guiding the two cohorts or regulatory sandbox cohorts, what the regulator had come out with, is testimonial that IRDAI is welcoming technology in a big way and would really support organizations and entities which want to bring in InsurTech and introduce InsurTech in various lines of the journey of the insurance policyholder. That's very, very clear from that. We have seen most of the InsurTech thing today in interventions in the motor and health space, which is evident from the point of view of acquisition of customer as well as making claims experience easy for them. Probably we need to see if we can get more and more InsurTech intervention in commercial line business and other areas, So that is going to be the key focus in the coming years and time ahead, I guess. And of course, underwriting is one area where we would like to see what kind of technologies can come and help commercial line business take off, because there is where the next growth is going to be there. And a lot of brokers are focused on soliciting and servicing commercial line business in the Indian market. The fact is that if you will see from the total premium that general insurance premium that India has concluded for 31st March 2021, from the addressable market share, almost 40% of premium has been serviced by brokers, whether it is personal lines, commercial lines, motor, health, or anything. So we would like to see more of technology interventions in the commercial line space, and the commercial line space is also going to see rapid increase because of two new standard products introduced by the regulator this year: the Bharat Laghu Udyam policy and the Suksham Udyam policy, which is a package product. And this is now going to make more and the SME, MSME people buy this product to protect themselves. Of course, there are certain changes which we as a broker association have recommended to the regulator and in dialogue with the regulator to bring in certain more add-on covers which were available in the previous fire policy, which is not available in this package policy. So of course the regulator seized of that and they're looking into it. But these two standard package products are going to bring in excitement in the commercial line space and also ensure that this SME, MSME segment is completely insured. So there's going to be a lot of action that we're going to see over here. So thank you, Mr. Jakpal, for your inputs today and guiding us. I would also like to thank all the panelists and speakers today. I would like to specifically mention what Yashish had mentioned, that of course brokers or intermediaries can invest on technology, but you need to have ownership of data, and the data should be secured. If you don't have that, then any amount of effort or investment is not going to yield the desired result over there. That's a very important thing. And as also Madam had mentioned, of course, we will introduce technology, various InsurTech things, but the lack of human touch should not be there. So in the event there is some customer policy holder, whether it's the personal line business or commercial line business, wants to have a personal touch, wants a person to speak to him or a resource to speak to him or reach out to him, then that facility also should be available. Sometimes people get bugged with only going with chatbots and everything. No, it's not going to help. Another area where we need to focus, where InsurTech can help us or should help us, is the grievance handling. Grievance handling is going to be very, very important. If that can be looked into, it will be a great thing. And as Madam mentioned, and even Randipji mentioned, that the face of insurance industry is going to, or the landscape of insurance industry is going to change the next decade. There is going to be growth, no doubt about it. But with the intervention of technology, the entire face and landscape is going to change. People who do not adopt technology, as Sundaram also had mentioned, we will not be there. We will be done and dusted. So we have to adopt technology, marry technology, and ensure that we make life easy, not only for the policyholder, but for all the other stakeholders who are part of this thing. And definitely, technology is going to play a big, penetration is the key thing which everybody is looking into. We need to ensure that insurance penetration increases, and technology is going to be a tool and asset that is going to help us, increase the penetration. So with this, I would like to thank all the participants today, all the panelists and the presenters who have given presented their products and services to us. Probably you could connect with IBAI one-on-one again, and we can introduce you to the larger broker member forum and see how best you can get connected and make use of the opportunity. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, IIA, and Madam and Randipji for your participation today. Good day.